Hello, Mom. This is just a message to wish you well and to show you that I've been playing and to tell you about a few things that have recently happened to your father's instrument. A couple of weeks ago, actually just before the new year, I noticed that there was some varnish rubbing off here right along the edge. Just putting it in and out of the case, probably from sitting in the crook of my arm. Wood is a fragile substance, and I'm so worried about it. Obviously, I took it into a local shop, a local violin shop, and much like taking one's car in to get an oil change, and you come back with a new transmission and new tires and a new windshield and everything else, the guy at the shop pointed out a couple of other things. The fingerboard was actually a little bit loose. It wasn't fully attached right along the edge, and it was actually the angle wasn't quite right. Whether it has sagged over time, which he said is definitely a thing that happens just from all of the tensions or whatever. And so he put in a new well, not a new, a little spacer, right, to raise it up just a couple of hairs width, but he said that should make the fingering easier. And so the reason I'm saying this is that I just picked it up last weekend, and he had also put new strings on it, so here's, I had him put new strings. There's the old strings. Changing the strings every year or two is definitely a thing that I need to do, and have been doing. But it takes about a week for the strings to settle in. They need to be stretched and then relax and stretch and relax until eventually the strings are basically comfortable being stretched the right amount all the time. And the day before I was going to pick it up, the repairman called me and said and asked me if it was okay if he would replace the tailpiece. So the tailpiece is this thing. It goes here. It's where the string's attached to. He said that the original tailpiece didn't have a ridge here. It's actually got a groove. So there's supposed to be a ridge that the strings rest on so that they're not tearing into the wood of the tailpiece, like the G and the D string in particular we're doing. Actually, you can actually see it on all of them a little bit. Basically, from all of that tension, right, from the string pulling here, all of that tension cuts into the wood, unless there's basically a brace. And so it turns out that this tailpiece didn't have one of those, and in fact I don't know that it ever did. I don't remember ever seeing a ridge of wood along here. And I think this was the original tailpiece that the instrument had when we picked it up, or when it was found in your father's attic. So that's been replaced. The new one has the ridge. It lifts the strings up so they're not cutting into the wood, and it definitely actually, now that the strings have actually settled, I've noticed the G and the D string will ring a lot more. So like if I'm playing a double stop or something, when I let off those notes, they'll just keep going. So that's definitely a noticeable change. The other thing, I don't know which of the, he also replaced the bridge. I think this was, again, the original bridge that we had put on it when that guy in Madison did repairs in 25 years ago. The initial set of repairs. So he put on a new bridge. It's a little bit higher, a little bit different angle to match the change in the angle of the fingerboard. I think I'm fine with it where it is. These things, they're all subtle, and so I'm still getting used to some of the changes. He did say that there was no, if you remember, there were those two big cracks running, right? One running all the way up to the F hole here, and the other one coming up to here somewhere. He said there was no sign that those are starting to open up or anything. So whatever that whatever those repairs were, they're holding. So that's good. This was the first significant amount of work done on this instrument since college, I guess. I don't know. Certainly not in the last 10 years. Probably more than that. I don't think I'd had anyone looked at it. I've replaced strings. I got the bow rehaired and such, but that's all. So it's not a case of the ship of Theseus, right, where the king gets all of the pieces of his ship replaced and wonders at what point it's a new ship. This is just a little things here and there. Otherwise, everything's good with it. I thought I would let you know. I thought you might be curious. You have to take things into the shop every now and then and get them checked out, get them repaired a little bit. And as you can tell, I've still been playing. So hopefully I'm going to try and play at the farmer's market here in town. I've been told that to play at Pike's Place, the big market downtown, you actually have to pay $40 for a permit. But the guy at the violin shop said that he knows people who make a living that way. He has customers who bring their violins in to him to be repaired, who basically make their living playing music at Pike's Place. So, worth considering. And then the one other thing you might be curious about is I've gotten a new case for it to help protect it. That case, that old Char case that we had was finally, you remember you even sewed a little bit of it back together at one point. It was finally pretty much falling apart. So new case should be better at protecting it from swings in humidity and temperature, and it's very well gripped inside of it, so it doesn't jostle around, and it's smaller and lighter and easy to carry around. So maybe that'll let me go places. So just wanted to send you a note. Everything is well, and the instrument is still singing nicely. Love you.